Hi, I'm Jennifer Birkenbosch. I run Sundog Organic Farm along with my husband, James Vriend, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about merchandising and selling your product at farmers markets. So now I'd like to talk to you about merchandising. So I'm moving on to the next section, and within merchandising, I have two key words that are really fundamental to providing our customers with a great experience. And these are things that I teach my staff as soon as they come to work for us at market. The two key words are order and abundance. So I'll just spend a little bit of time talking to you about how to create order at a farmer's market booth. Farmers markets can be quite fast-paced and a little bit chaotic at times, especially during peak season on a busy Saturday morning. And so I just want to talk to you about a few of the ways that we create order at our farmers market booth. One of the things that we do is we separate our vegetables from each other by using crates and baskets. Rather than piling them up on the tables where things can become a little bit loose around the edges, we keep them tidy in crates and baskets for the most part. Sometimes we're flexible with that as necessary, but that really helps us to fit more product into a smaller space and keep it tidy and organized. Now for us, this means that we have to do a lot of stocking. We keep stock under the table or behind the table, and we have a dedicated staff person or even sometimes two staff people constantly keeping that stock maintained. And I'll talk to you a little bit about why that's so important. So there are times that I find that product doesn't sell very well. And I am pretty careful about choosing a price point that works for us as farmers. So I don't want to jump to the conclusion that I need to lower the price if a product isn't moving well. What I often ask myself is whether or not it has something to do with how I've organized it or ordered it on the table. So perhaps that product was lost behind a bunch of leafy green beet leaves, or maybe that product was displayed in a way that was difficult for the customer to find out where to pick it up. I'm just going to share a story with you about bok choy. We were very excited about growing bok choy for the first time, and we had it displayed in a basket, and it was displayed in a way that was all upright. And so the bok choy was this nice dark green bed of green, and we took most of it home at the end of the day, and we were disappointed about that. So I reduced the numbers that we brought the following week. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and merchandise it a little bit differently. I'm going to put it in the basket in a way that shows a customer where to pick it up. So I laid it on its side, and that meant that the customer was able to see that nice vase-shaped bottom part of the bok choy, knew where to pick it up, and we sold all of the bok choy that I brought to market within about 10 minutes of opening. So that really spoke to me about the importance of thinking about how your customer is perceiving what you have on the table. And to me, that speaks to making sure that you have things ordered in a way that is accessible and easy for your customers to understand. Additionally, bagging methods can really affect how your customer perceives what you're selling. So if you're selling a half a pound of spinach, that half pound is $5, whether it's in a big bag or whether it's in a small bag. And a half pound is a half pound. But a half pound can look differently if it's in a bag that's appropriate to that size and there's just a small tuft on the end of the bag. If you have a bag that's twice as big as the product that you're selling, that can make the product that you're selling look like it hasn't been carefully thought out. So the other element that I'd like to talk to you about within merchandising is the element of abundance. Abundance is really key, especially when you're selling food products. I think it's important in anything that you're selling, but I find especially when I'm selling food, I want people to have a feeling that there's an abundance, there's something joyful about that, and you're sharing sort of the bounty. And that can be really easy to achieve in the mornings when there is actually an abundance of product. But as people buy what you have to offer and the amount of product that you have dwindles, then the way that we create abundance or a feeling of abundance at our booth at the farmers market is we do something called basketizing. Now, this is a term that I've coined, and what I mean by basketizing is by using an appropriate sized basket according to how much you have left of a certain product. So say you have maybe 3 or 4 heads of broccoli left. This basket here does not feel very abundant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to transfer it to an appropriate sized basket. And that's something that I call basketizing. So my staff knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say the broccoli needs to be basketized. So this to me feels, even though it's still only 3 broccoli, it still feels like an abundance of broccoli. Another thing that I like to do at the farmers market is tilting the product towards the customer. It's a very simple thing that you can do to help create the feeling of providing an offering. So it's kind of like offering a gift. Rather than laying something flat on the table like that, we just tip that up and offer it to our customers. First, they can see it better, and it's easier for them to receive it. And we do that at the farm by putting all of our crates and baskets just leaning up against the edge of our sign blocks. So we just tilt it forward like that. You can also create that feeling, that tilting or tiered effect by using crates or boxes or by piling things up towards the back higher than they are at the front. So there are many different methods, but it's a very effective way of drawing your customer in and providing them with something that you're offering. So this is where my art background comes in handy, because what I like to do at the farmers market is really capitalize on the colors of the produce that I'm selling. So I think about the color wheel. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the color wheel, but there are colors that are opposite each other. So red and green are opposite each other on the color wheel. Purple and yellow are opposite each other, and blue and orange. And so what I do is make sure that I break up those colors. I play them off of each other. So I have red potatoes next to green cabbage on this table, for instance. I have orange carrots next to the greenish blue of the broccoli. I also think about textures and sizes of things. I don't want to have, all round products on one table. I want to break up the texture. I want to have turnips next to corn, for instance, or let's see, yellow cauliflower next to purple eggplant is beautiful. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do that, and you can be really playful with it. I do create a map for my staff to know where to put things. And then at the end of our setting up time, I just take a step back and I make sure that it all looks like things are really playing off of each other. Because when you put a red product next to a green product, those colors make each other sing and just create a more vibrant display for your customers. Additionally, something about the color red that I've learned is that if you have red at the very front of your booth, sometimes I'll lay a line of radishes along all of my vegetables at the front. That really draws people's eyes up and into the space, and is just a color technique that can be valuable. So one thing that I really like to do is think about my whole booth as a very large painting or an art installation. And if I approach it with that attitude, then I have lots of fun setting it up and creating something that's beautiful. And I feel like that speaks to emphasizing some of the skills that I have to offer at the farmers market.